Hello, this is Dr. Papiya Dutta, and I'll be talking on the rural development concepts and theories. And the objective of my today's presentation and lecture here is about why the rural development is something which we really need to focus on. And my target audience for this particular lecture will be the PG students who are pursuing their masters and who are like want to know about the rural development, how can it bring a change in the society. So moving to the first slide, where we can see an introduction of the rural area as well, as we have a general idea or some concept regarding the rural area and the urban area, which one we can classify as categorize as rural area. So basically, like where the community who are living in those area who are dependent on the primary sector, that means the earning of that people, the majority of the people are coming from the agriculture and allied sector. And as well as the rural areas can also be defined if in a place the population is less than 5,000 and the density of population is less than 400 per square kilometer, or more than 25% of the working population is engaged in agriculture. So if either any three of these point or a reason is there, so we can call that area as a rural area. And why we can say that is a need of the hour, and how it can be possible to really go for a rural development, because 31 crore, which is an approximate of the rural people, they do not have the income which is sufficient, and they do not have a no good employment opportunities. The rural development is required because the population who are living in the rural areas is basically unorganized. And according to the census data, the latest census data of 2011, which is now being focused on, it says that 71%, is an approximate, that means 72.11% of the India's population is living in rural areas. Out of that, 29% of the rural population, which will be almost equivalent to 200 million people, is below the national poverty line, and among them 59% are small and marginal farmers and landless laborers who depend solely on agriculture. uh, this slide is focusing on to say about what is the main difference, the real difference between the urban and the rural area. See, in that particular concept with the rural areas, in the name of the rural development, there is no hidden agenda that we may need to make the rural as an urban by installing all the provisions like a shopping mall or something like that in the rural areas. Rather, the rural development means when we get the basic amenities that are available in urban areas, that must be available in the rural areas, so that we can check an influx in from the rural to the urban in every year. Like India, almost all the states of India are witnessing a huge influx from the rural to urban area. And like how to address the rural development is just some few strategies can be jotted down here, and which the further discussion can also be are welcome, that bridging the rural urban divide and help the villagers to help themselves when there is a rural urban divide. This is something about the sociology, because like there is a clear cut, a thick difference between the lifestyle, the social stratification of which is there in the rural urban, the economic, the cultural, everything. That thick lines need to be thinned down, and like we have to find out some strategy is to need to be designed here, so that we can minimize the division between the rural and the urban. And we need to help the villagers so that they can help themselves. It is not that we being the like the professional of the rural development, we will be always there to help all the villages throughout their lifetime. It's not true. Rather, we as a professional, we will we'll train them so that they can become a dependent factor for themselves, and creation of an enabling environment for better economic opportunities and growth. That is something which we really need to focus on. So the strategies are already, few of them are being developed and few are there in the development stage, and in the future also, like all the ideas are welcome how we can create an enabling environment for a better economic and opportunities and for growth. We need to find out some strategy which would provide the avenues for a dignified living, as well as the social mobilization needs to be very very much mobilized. And also there should be an, like a right to the food security, and we have to give a guarantee that at least all the population which are living in the rural areas, they are they are, like available to the foods. So as per the definition, of course, we have the UN definition, which says that is a process of change. It's a effort of the people themselves are united, and the government authorities are there to help, so that the improvement can be done in the part of economic, social and cultural conditions of the people who are living in the rural areas. And as per the definition of the UN, the rural development is not about the no like is that not about the community, is not about the government also, but a sort of holistic development which we are talking about. And now we know rural development as a part of the sustainable development goals which the UN has given us to realize. And this is a definition which we now can adopt as a strategy. We can define rural development as, something to improve the economic and social life of the rural poor. Rural development is defined as a process as well, and as a process, rural development is aim intends to improve the well-being and self-realization of the people who are living outside the urbanized areas, and that can be done through a collective process. And if you combine all the definition as a process, as a strategy, as an academic, and whatever the definition has been given by the UN, we can define it as all about the bringing change among the rural community, and from the traditional way of living to the progressive way of living. So it can be expressed as a movement for the progress. And this slide is focusing on the how, like these are the core areas where the rural development can bring a positive change. So infrastructure, technology, health, education, economy, these are the areas, core areas, where really the development needs to be work needs to be done for the rural development. And when we say about the change and the development, we will not consider all the changes as development, only the positive change, the positive growth. If something is there in the areas like infrastructure, if there is a positive change in the technology which is creating an impact, a good impact, or which has created a what to say, a better living standard, that can be termed as a development. So with this, I will be just talking about the causes of the rural backwardness. And the reasons are like the rural people, the community which are living there, they are excessive depending on the poverty, preponderance of the small uneconomic and livestock holdings. So like the barren lands are huge in number, so here and there you will find that barren lands, and that makes something which is really like uneconomic land. And then low capital labor ratio, so whatever the labor they are utilizing for a particular area of land, the capital which they are supposed to get, they are not getting as per that labor which they are investing. The long waiting period but with low rate of turnover, as well as high incidence of poverty as well as unemployment, followed by lack of basic infrastructure. So these are the areas which really need to work on. The moment we can work on, and we can work, and with this triggering point, of course the rural development will take place. So in the next class we will be continuing with the further discussion of the causes, as well as what needs to be done with the experiments, with the programs which we have now in the country. We'll be continuing with our next. Thank you.